which reportedly costs around 40% that need to be borne by the US economy. This is reported by the Ontario Chamber of Commerce. The dispute causes significant traffic and travel time delays for crossing users during period of high demand, especially given that the timing for custom inspection are already impacted by security concern. Besides that, the vast majority of countries saw an increase in the difficulty and duration of border processes, which caused delay for many products in favor of COVID-19 related essential. Government organizations had to deal with personal shortage brought on by illness while also protecting the health and safety of their employees and individuals who often interface with border agents face-to-face. Currently, in Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore cross-border, there are a number of problems with cross-border trade, particularly when it comes to the movement of cargo over national border. The trade flow in this area will be impacted by a strict documentation procedure for custom clearance and the ensuring significant congestion. The cross-border freight transaction process is also made more difficult and has an impact on the manufacturer competitiveness by the inconsistent freight transaction documentation. Now, I will pass to my partner Shahida to explain on the problem statement.
Okay, so next for the problem statement, the problem is according to studies, the growth of cross-border businesses, service, and also transportation require many collaboration from parties like the freight forwarding companies, transportation companies, and also third-party logistics, or we call as 3PL. Okay, problems arise when delay occurs, which has affected the performance of cross-border logistics in Bukit Kali Hitam. Delay occurs may due to the huge volume of shipments, and it can also lead to poor efficiency of cross-border operation capabilities like cross-border logistics. Also, when there is a delay, of course, it will affect the surrounding environment because it causes congestion. Of course, when there is so many vehicles on the road, there will be congestion and smoke emissions from vehicles that may pollute the air. So, barriers like unnecessary costs, procedures need to be reduced, but the value delivered to the customers must be added. Also, we need to reduce the dwell time of merchandise movement, which could help to solve the issue of delay. And finally, to provide services that meet traders' expectation. Because collaboration from many different parties, as mentioned before, will help to boost the cross-border efficiency with faster operational performance. Next, for the research questions and the research objective, the first research question is, how is the performance of cross-border logistics from the perspective of logistics service provider after COVID-19 pandemic at Bukit Kali Hitam? So to answer this research question number 1, we come up with the first objective, which is to analyze the performance of cross-border logistics from the perspective of logistics service provider after COVID-19 at Bukit Kali Hitam. And then the second research question is, what are the factors that cause a delay in cross-border activities from the perspective of logistics service provider? And the second objective is to explore the factors that cause a delay in cross-border activities from the perspective of logistics service provider. And finally, the third research question is, what can be done to reduce the delay that occurs at cross-border of Bukit Kali Hitam specifically? So the third research objective is to investigate approach for development of operational cross-border logistics after COVID-19 pandemic from the perspective of logistics service provider. So next, for the research methodology, we're going to utilize qualitative method because it enables the researchers, which is ourselves, to gain participants or respondents' points of views for the topic of performance of cross-border logistics in Bukit Kali Hitam. Also, it helps to describe the operational cross-border logistics that have changed since COVID-19 outbreak from the perspective of logistics service provider. And for the data collection method, we're going to conduct semi-structured interview because we believe that we can get a better opinions and ideas from the respondent, which are the logistics service providers company. And also, this interview will be conducted physically, which is face-to-face. And the duration will last for 45 to 90 minutes using English language. And the last part of this methodology is the sampling technique. Okay, so for the sampling technique, we're going to collect data of respondents, In respect of sample size of the study, we will achieve saturation point strategy. Basically, saturation point strategy is used to determine when there is enough or sufficient data to develop valid understanding of the study. When we are conducting interview later, we're going to see that the respondent will give a likely or similar opinions about cross-border logistic performance in Bukit Kaki Hitam. And next, this is the research framework of our research. Okay, first we're going to start with the observation, and then once we have the observation, we're going to gather information from the literature review part, and then we're going to prepare instrument for data collection, and then collecting data using interview method, which we were going to Bukit Kayu Hitam specifically to interview to the logistics service providers company. Once we have the data, we're going to analyze this data and come up with the results and also outcome. So I think I'm going to pass back to Safia for the last part.
Okay, now we are looking at the scope and significance of the research. For scope and limitation, the study will only focus on the cross-border logistics between Malaysia and Thailand at Bukit Kayu Hitam. And this study does not develop a new operation of cross-border logistics as a solution, rather just a suggestion. The result of the study also will not applicable to logistics service provider, but not the policymaker, as we focus on logistics service provider only. And the main source of this study, as explained by my partner, is interview question prepared by us, the researchers. For the significance of the study, we are looking to goods transported across the border. We wanted to be able to help them to improve in administration of the cross-border logistics service provider in terms of good transportation. We also want to help them to improve the operation efficiency during the crossing of goods for both country borders. And we're also going to contribute theoretical in the literature of supply chain management. Last but not least, we're going to provide a solution of delayed procedure regarding the good transportation across the borders. So that is all from me and my partner for this proposal defense. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Husna, tanya dulu.
Tak apa, sini jam komen dulu.
See your title. Cross-border logistic performance after COVID-19. Based on the why you want to do this topic? Dengar tak? Dengar. Dengar tak saya cakap ni?
Saya dengar.
Jawab.
Okay, for this topic, basically, we have discussed it with our supervisor, and together, our supervisor, Dr. Ghazali, suggested us to do this topic. And after do some research, we also interested in the topic itself.
No, that's not the answer. I asked you why. Why do you do this topic? Meaning that, bila saya tanya why, maksudnya mesti ada isu kan? Mesti ada problem kan? Betul tak? So what is the problem? Actually, I think from the topic, your problem is logistic performance, cross-border logistic performance. So what is the problem? See, that's why your issue is not clear. Because you see. Yeah.
Okay. So basically, our focus is to study the cross-border logistic performance right after COVID-19. So the problem here is there is a delay occurred at Bukit Kayu Hitam. So we want to minimize the delay because we want to improve the macroeconomy activities. Also, we want to improve the quality of life of the residents at Bukit Kayu Hitam because we don't want to cause any delay there.
Okay, the issue is delay, right?
Yes.
Show the following statement. So where is the facts that supporting your issue, saying that delay is a problem? You must have facts that say, delay is a problem, yes, in cross-border. That to show your topic is significant. If not, this topic maybe is your problem in the mind only. You assume it's delay, but actually it's not happening. Delay. So any reference to support the delay issue? That is your problem.
Okay, we did include the support over here by Gain articles in 2021, how it stated that after the COVID-19, in 2021, there is increasing in difficulty and duration of border processes, and also highlight on because of the COVID procedure, there need to be like screening for health, and they also like this limited per time. So over there, we also include here to support our problem.
So actually, this is not the teacher review. This is your problem statement. Found out. Problem statement must highlight the issue. Okay, the issue must be supported with facts of the current literatures lah, saying that the issue is genuine and it's happening. So that maybe it's not apa nama ni lingers in your mind only, assuming that it's a problem, right? So this should be your supporting, right? Problem statement, right? Okay.
Okay.
So the other thing is that next slide. And it seems that the delay is your issue. You should revise back your title so that focus specifically on the issue performance on the issue case. Bukan more, it's too broad the title sampai ternampak. And the first question. Your research question doesn't highlight what they want to do with the delay, the problem. Just highlight the topic, right? Betul tak? Number one, the topic kan?
Yeah.
So research question actually should involve about what you want to do with the problem. And then, okay, faham So you revise balik so that you're addressing on the problem itself. So you dah identify the problem logically kan. Dah identify the problem. Question mesti dah nak buat apa kan? With the problem kan? Betul tak? So what it was the question must be based on that lah, right? So next objective tu boleh ikut question. Next. Apa lagi slide tu mana? Next slide lah apa? Why just now is what question? So you check back the question. So that is it covers the issue, the problem. So mana question yang tak covers tu you put aside. Because the question of research, your research is to address the issue, right? To find the answer, okay, of the question that you ask. So what you want to know about the issue? So you need to ask the question and then find the answer of the question, right? Betul tak? That's scientific research lah. Next, your what methodology If the review saya tak check lah, you pandai-pandai buat lah This is methodology, right? So you're doing qualitative research. So when quality research, so you must remember, the research design, qualitative research or quantitative research also have research design. The research design must be based on your research question. How to answer your research question, that is your design. Understand? So if you choose qualitative, make sure the research question is about knowing in-depth information. Because qualitative is in-depth. It's very rich data. Dia tak ada surface. Macam quantitative is surface. So the question must be either how ataupun why. Maybe the terms must be used, right, to indicate this qualitative approach. So that it will reflect by your research design, right? This one, problem, the calculation. Next slide. Sampling technique is not mentioned like this, wrong. You must make a proper sampling procedures, right? First of all, identify the population, right? The population, then your sampling. So who is your sample, right? Who is your respondent actually? How you want to get your sample, right? What sampling design that you use? What sampling procedure that you take, right? So that should be explanation of methodology, sampling. And then methodology is not enough. Dia ada lagi setting, research setting, unit analysis, time research time research development and time frame dia, and then sampling, and then the next slide apa? And the next slide should be your analysis. What you want to do with the analysis, right? What method you want to adopt or adapt to answer the research question, to analyze the data, right? And then the research framework is actually not about explaining the flow of the research. No, it's about your research framework. Is about your what do you want to study what do you want to study in your research. So it consists of your factors involved. What is your focus factors? What is your factors, right? Okay, your IB, DB, kan? Okay, so these are the things that you put in the framework, not this one. This one is like table of content of the proposal, right? Okay. Next. Tak apalah you buat sendiri lah ni kan. Itu the main one is that one so be sure on the problem statement. That's all. Thank you very much.
Dr. Thank you.
Okay, thank you Sir Nizam. So kalau untuk saya, rasanya Sir Nizam dah touch semua kan, cuma buat problem statement tu lah. Okay, bukan LR. Nanti LR nanti pun make sure dia latest lah. Dia latest dalam 5 ke 10 tahun, yang ke belakang 5 tahun. Tapi kalau kita nak cakap tentang literature yang teori, dia boleh je yang lama. Tapi untuk isu kita kena cari LR yang latest lah, 5 tahun. Okay. Kemudian nak interview nanti semi structure kan. So semi structure nak interview siapa? Manager ke? Co-workers ke? Itu kena betul-betul identify lah. Jangan main rawak, rambang saja. Siapa yang dapat. Okay. Itu sajalah daripada saya. Okay, terima kasih banyak-banyak.
Okay, terima kasih Doktor.
Okay, sama-sama.
Nah.
Okay. So that's all. Okay, we go to the group number 2. So group number 2, how to say this? Citron?
Citron.
Citron. Okay, citron. So who is the Tan Hui Ling and Sid Zen Zun?
Yeah.
Okay, alright. So are you ready?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, if you're ready, the floor is yours. Okay? Thank you.
A very good afternoon to Sir Nizam and Dr. Husna. We are from Group Citron. My name is Zhen Shen. Batch number is 269512.
Good afternoon to Sir Nizam and Dr. Husna. My name is Tan Hui Ling. Batch number is 269651.
Okay. So our topic is last mile delivery in e-commerce from the preference of consumer among undergrad UM students towards sustainability impact. And our supervisor is Dr. Surya Musa. So I'm going to start with last mile delivery. So last mile delivery is also known as LMD in short form. So last mile delivery is one of the main steps in the business process, and it is also the last step in the logistic process where it delivers online ordered products to the consumer. In recent years, e-commerce has been growing at a fast pace, hence resulting in an increase in the usage of last mile delivery within the urban areas, and hence causing the huge challenges for the sustainable logistics. Okay, so with the rise of e-commerce, consumers are becoming more demanding in areas like product delivery speed, which increases the environmental impact. The consumer behavior has become a key part of making the last mile delivery more sustainable, because people now have to think about how their buying decisions affect not only the economic and social, but also the environment. Okay, for literature review, we will start to introducing mainly on the environment sustainability, because last mile delivery will cause air pollution, emissions of greenhouse gases, noise pollution, and congestions. Next, economic sustainability. Inside, we will explain on the three main categories of delivery, which include delivery cost, delivery speed, and delivery options. And lastly, we will explain on the social sustainability, that we're focusing on train on the public traffic and a negative social impact on the population. So the body of the literature review will provide the solutions and recommendations to a more sustainable last mile delivery services. This is our theoretical framework. So our DV for this research is preference of e-consumer in last mile delivery towards sustainability impact. And our IV will be environment, economic, and social sustainability. So now I will pass to my partner, Tan Hui-Ling.
Okay, now I will continue to the problem statement. Because with what we searched, we found that the ever-increasing number of delivery vehicles in residential neighborhood is a clear indication that e-commerce is becoming more popular. As a result, the last mile delivery, which is already known for being one of the most costly, inefficient, and polluted part of the supply chain. Firstly is about the environmental sustainability. This sustainability is primarily related to the impacts of transportation. The CO2 emission level of the last mile in e-commerce, which is believed to be very high. And the next one is the economy sustainability. As mentioned by my partner before, delivery cost, delivery speed, and delivery options are the three categories of delivery factors that influence the sustainability of last mile delivery. This is because the customer places a high priority on the cost of delivery, and also the expectation of consumers for shorter delivery times is always growing. For the social sustainability, an increase in last mile deliveries cause more traffic jams, accidents, and longer wait times, are strain on public transport and a negative impact on the population. For the problem statement in the challenge, the first one is traffic congestion. New mobility formats and models, as well as traffic congestion, pose new danger on the roads. Higher density population in metropolitan area have a multiple effect on the rise in freight transport volume per person. The second challenge is high cost in delivery. Last mile delivery is harder due of the additional expenses associated with field first deliveries. For example, an unoccupied house where the package cannot be delivered. So this will make the cost rise due to the lost time and distance travel when delivery must be rescheduled. In the problem statement, we also found the ways to improve the last mile delivery. First one is use of smart technology, for example, like the IoT, Internet of Things. This may monitor their last mile delivery tasks in real time to learn more about how they are doing, where they are, and what the road conditions are like. And also use to monitor fuel consumption partners and help drivers find more fuel efficient routes. The second is increasing awareness of e-consumers towards sustainability. This is needed to address environmental challenge, starting with rising awareness of the problem to strengthen sustainable behavior. From the research question, in our research, our first question is, what are the consumer preference in last mile delivery service? So our research objective first one is to identify the consumer preference in last mile delivery service. And our second question is, what are the challenge of last mile delivery service towards e-commerce? Therefore, the Second objective form is to identify the challenge of last meal delivery service towards e-commerce. And the last question is, what are the ways to improve last meal delivery service? And the third objective is to identify the ways to improve last meal delivery service. In the research methodology, the research design that we use is quantitative method, and our population and sampling is undergraduate student in UUM. Now I will pass back to my partner, Zhen Xuan.
Okay, so now I will explain on the scope and significance of the research. Our scope will be focusing on the population, which is the UUM undergrad students. So the sample will be selected randomly from the populations, and a set of online questionnaire will be sent out through mainly on WhatsApp and also from our social media. And the significance of the research is mainly to point out the last mile delivery services based on sustainability impact. The response from the e-consumer will show the level of their awareness towards the sustainability when they choose their last mile delivery services. So throughout this research, we can recognize the challenges and provide the solutions towards a more sustainable last mile delivery services. And that's all from Group Citron. Thank you.
Dr. Husna boleh.
Okay, okay, Seniza komen dulu. Lepas tu baru saya.
Okay. See your title topic. Normally in e-commerce for the prosperous of consumer among prepared consumer. Oh, your topic is too very long.
That's my delivery.
E-commerce. So your DB is what? Your issue is what? DB is your focus, eh? So what is your DB from the topic? Your DB is preference, or your DB is delivery, or your DB is sustainability. One. Because there are many terms there that can be DB.
Sir, our DV is focusing on the preference of e-consumer.
Preference of
Yes.
that's why you put sustainability impact.
Because we can get the relation from the preference, and then we can connect to the sustainability impact.
Back to the like just now, why actually you want to do this topic? Why?
The reason why we are doing this topic because in recent years, the e-commerce usage is increasing, and hence the using of the last mile delivery is increasing too. So it has causes a lot of issues, and especially towards the impact to the environment and also to the social impact. And throughout this research, we can achieve a more sustainable last mile delivery. Yeah.
That is your topic. Achieving sustainable last mile delivery, not preference, right? You mentioned it that way, right?
Yeah.
So you think back, right?
Okay.
So your issue is on last mile delivery, sustainability. So what is the what are the proof that this is the problem? There's a problem in last mile delivery towards sustainability, affecting sustainability. Any proof? Your proof statement? Show your proof statement.
Problem statement.
See? So this is your problem statement. So meaning that this is the topic. Okay, last mile delivery that reflects sustainability. Right.
Yeah.
Politics not supply chain, right? So this is your issue actually, right? Not preference. So in this case, maybe what you want to do about last mile delivery. That is the thing that you need to ask question. Just this question. Okay, the sustainability. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Zhen Chuan, right? The name? The name
Yes,
is
doctor. My name is Sid.
Yu Ling. Sit, always sit. The secretary. I your first name. I thought you people look at your second name, right? So Sid. You understand it?
Yeah, sir. Yes, I understand.
Think it's logic or not?
Mm.
Willing? Right. So these are the things that you want to focus. Okay. So your research question. So once your title is clear, your issue is clear, your research question is the question that you should ask on the issue. What actually you want to explore about the issue, right? Right. So if the question is the issue, you must change later on because the issue is last mile delivery affects accessibility. Okay. So what you want to know, what you want to explore, that is the question that you ask, right? Same like before, it relates to your literature review and relate to your methodology, right? Is it? Methodology, the most important thing is that from your research question, you should decide which research design is able to answer the question. Kalau quantitative, ada a few types of design. Kalau quantitative, ada many types of design. Which one can answer your research question? Can be adopted. And then so that the process of sampling, data analysis will relate to the research. Understand?
Understand, sir.
Or see, never mind. Any problem, you can ask me later on. Okay?
Okay, thank you, sir.
Ya, betul nah. Si
Okay.
secretary lot trend ni, si ni.
Apa dia? Secretary Labour Trans?
Last year, LSM.
Oh, okay.
Kenal tu.
Oh, dia kenal. Okay.
That's all from me, si back to the top now.
Okay, right. Go back to the title. Last mile delivery. Okay. Dia selalunya apa IB dan DB tu akan nampak dekat tajuk lah. Usually the IB and DB in the title. Okay. Alright. And then the framework that you show me, you make by your own or you get from somewhere? Is there any source or you just come up with the framework?
Doctor, we come up with our own framework. But we have the
Okay, there is difference between theoretical framework and conceptual framework. Okay, all right. And then how you come out with conceptual frameworks? It must be come from any theoretical framework. We call it research. Means somebody already searched it, but we research. Okay. So like Sir Nizam said, there is adapt or adopt. Adopt means you can straight away use the theoretical framework that you get from any journal article for your research? Can or cannot? Yes, can. The answer is can. Okay? Or you want to modify it, you want to alter it, we call adapt, become your conceptual framework. Can or cannot? Can. You also can do that. But in IV and the DV, down there you must put in bracket the source, where you get the idea from. Okay?
Okay, doctor.
My last one is why UUM student? Why not public?
Doctor, why we choose UUM student? Because as we know, in UUM student, most of the student will buy on will shopping online. So this is also one of the e-shopping platform lah. Then so we choose UUM student because uh we we know that most of the students in UUM are buying online, and like the UPC in Trevin or Kachi will also receive many parcel in a day. So this is why we choosing UUM student.
Okay, discuss back. Is it can be a case study or you just want or you choose UUM student because it's easy to get data?
Yes.
It should not be the answer, okay? You must have the concrete why you choose that population. Okay?
Okay, doctor.
So that's all from me. Thank you very much. It's a learning process. So making mistake is a must. Okay? It's a must. All right? So thank you from me. We go to next group.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you,
Thank you,
Sunita.
Doctor. Thank you, Saiza.
Okay, next group is hang lah pula saya punya laptop. Next group GTR. Okay, next group GTR. Okay, are you ready? Okay, if you're ready, the floor is yours. Good luck.
Thank you. Assalamualaikum. And a very good afternoon to Dr. Izzatul Husna and Sir Nizamuddin. So our proposal defense topic is, today we will present our proposal defense, and the topic is warehouse safety hazard and how to prevent them, the perception of warehouse in Malaysia. We are from group GTR, and my name is Nazatun Najah binti Azmi 272409, and my partner is Narisa binti Zuhasri 272228. Okay, this is the topic that we will mention on our proposal defense. So the first one, is we move to the introduction part. So there are three general knowledge that we will talk about. The first one is warehouse. Warehouse are a key aspect of modern supply chain and play a vital role in the success or failure of business today by Fraser 2002. The next one is the safety. Safety is the result of the whole of action, matches, mental model, etc. in an organization that lead to increased performance and lowering losses. And the last one is the Occupational Safety and Health Act, grant employee a number of rights that directly affect the Act enforcement by Will 1992. So the next part is the scope of the study. So this study use a safety indicator of warehouse performance at PKT Logistics, and the study will measure among the PKT workers in Penang. Next, we move to the literature review.
So we proceed to the next sector, which is literature reviews. As everyone can see in our slide, we have used a funnel process, which is we started with warehouse performance and narrowed down to safety hazard entry indicator that we have choose. So for warehouse performance, so for the warehouse performance, refer to Nelly et al. 1995. The way in which work is done, there can be a good performance or a bad one. It defines it as the process of quantifying the efficiency and effectiveness of an action or activity. DVUI 2019 also stated that warehouse performance measurement refers to the measurement of optimal use of storage space, customer relations activity, quality level, assets, usage, and cost. So next is the safety. Safety is especially important in the logistics service industry. Data from 2014 say that in United States, the transportation and warehousing sector accounts for the second highest number of fatalities. So in Malaysia, we show this diagram, which is occupational accident statistic by sector until August 2022. Since we choose warehouse as our main context, we focus on the transport, storage, and communication. The occupational accidents have caused 178 non-permanent disability and 2 permanent disability, and also 9 deaths. According to Department of Occupational Safety and Health. So in terms of economy, warehouse, Malaysia's transport and storage sector accounted for 3.8% of GDP in 2019 and employed 4.4% of the working population. So next we proceed to the cause of injury in Malaysia. So here is the number of accidents reported by Social Security Administration also. We have a few types of accident, which is fall, struck by falling objects, stepping on, striking against, or struck by objects, caught in or between objects, over-exertion or strenuous movements, exposure to or contact with extreme temperatures, exposure to or contact with electricity, exposure to or contact with harmful substances, and other causes accident. So next is, according to Mariani et al., warehouse is a workplace that can be hazardous in many ways, such as unsafe use of forklift, failure to use proper personal protective equipment, improper stacking of product, and inadequate fire safety provision. Lastly is a repetitive motion injuries. So for our theoretical framework, based on Mariani before, we have choose 3 warehouse safety hazard, which is handling and movement, vehicles, and fire safety towards warehouse safety. So for handling and movement in the logistics industry, handling and movement is a level intensive that require high level of material handling. So for vehicles, a heavy vehicle in the warehouse have been used forklift that move around in close proximity to workers. Lastly is fire safety, because fire is the main threat to property and human safety in material storage process in industrial sector. So for warehouse safety, according to D et al. 2011, show that a study of accidents in 78 Dutch warehouse categorized the major of safety contributors, which is traffic, safety training, cleanliness, and storage and parking.
Okay, so we move to the problem statement. There are 3 problem statements of this research. The first one is hazard happened due to the lack of general safety rules. According to Ismail et al. 2012, organizational structure, communication, clear instruction, safety culture, codes and standards, training, leadership, and responsibility have been suggested to have influence on the general safety of the workplace. The second problem statement are the deregulation warehouse performance affecting safety management. According to Chang and Ye 2005, deregulation had also brought the pressure of the competition. This could force to reduce resources previously allocated to safety management and thereby passing a threat to their safety performance. And The last problem statement is an inadequate storage space in the leading cause of workplace injuries. The statistics shown that the past decade, container supply chain risk lost billions of dollars European Union, and only the number of accidents and severity of the sequences are growing fast because of the growth of container transportation. So for the research question for the study, there are 3 research questions. The first one is, what are the factors that influence warehouse safety? And the RO is to identify the factors related to warehouse safety. Second, how does safety affect warehouse performance? The RO to implement the regulation on warehouse performance. And the last research question is how to prevent work hazard in warehouse. And the research objective is to examine work hazard occurred in the warehouse. Okay, next we move to the research methodology.
So for the research methodology, research method that we choose to do is qualitative research. So for the qualitative research is defined as the study of the nature, phenomena, including quality, different manifestations, the context in which appear of the perspective from which can be perceived. And for our research design, we have choose statistical study. Statistical analysis is the process of collecting and analyzing data in order to discern patterns and trends. It also a method for removing bias from evaluating data by employing numerical analysis.
Okay, next, data collection method. So for the data source, we use the observational studies and survey. So the primary data we use is to develop the data such as survey, questionnaire, and interview. And we will do the interview at the PKT Logistics. And for the secondary data, we get the data from the past researcher by review the journals or an article such as from the Science Direct and Google Scholar. So the research methodology. The last part is significance of the study. So there are 2 elements significant of the study. The first one is the industry. So what the industry get from this study is the company will encompasses the resolution of the current issue and risk. And the second point is they will understand the challenges that they will face in the real world. And for the institution, this study will benefit to the develop new technique in terms of performance on efficient warehouse. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Okay, show your slide, Narisa. Narisa.
Yeah,
Okay, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. It's okay, guys. Yeah.
Jadilah tu. Next was your slide, I guess, slide, okay. Warehouse safety hazard and how to prevent them. A perception of warehouse in Malaysia. This is a research or just an article you should write? Because your title shows that like an article only. So because I cannot see the issue. So you put a perception. So is it a SLR? You know SLR? Is it a review of literatures only? Ataupun you want to solve a problem? Ataupun understand the problem?
Sorry, tak clear tadi, sir. Macam putus-putus
Okay,
tadi.
based on the title, warehouse safety hazard and how to prevent them. Perception of warehouse in Malaysia. I think your title is not a research work, more than exploring the issue. And the exploring about the issue of warehouse safety hazard only. So because I cannot see the issue of you want to review, because you just put a perception pula tu kan. A perception ni satu pandangan, faham tak? Persepsi. Jadi tang mana you nak buat study tu? research, kalau research not to test, right? To test. So I think it's not the testing lah. It's more on exploring. So maybe you can use the research design like SLR. Right? SLR, you just review the literature. But mind you, SLR ni, your literature must be 50 above lah, 100. Right? And you need to know the regimen of writing up our SLR. Because if not, the topic should be changed to a more specific issue, right? Mungkin warehouse safety hazard. So what is the problem of warehouse safety? Any problem? Ada tak? Kalau ada problem, you should highlight that one as a title. Okay? Because your title is macam artikel dalam paper je kan? Ataupun artikel SLR lah kan? Okay? Alright. So what actually your the why you want to do this topic? Any problem?
Okay, sir. So, as we have seen on the table that my partner shared before, there are a higher case of injuries in the warehouse performance.
Yeah.
So, that's why the reason why we do this research is
you mentioned higher causes of this is not higher causes, this is causes of injury, right? What do you mean higher causes? And then what you mean by performance, warehouse performance? So use your because every time mention have different meaning because you are doing scientific research. You need to really be careful of the term. Because causes of injury is faktor yang menyebabkan injury kan? So ini by higher causes tu. Ini what statistics about what? The statistics shows that dia tu naik ni apa ni? Cases based on injury, right? Right. Slide jadi. Dia punya slide jadi. That one is the cases on type of injury, right? Is it true because too small? I think so lah. Cases, amount of cases based on injury, right? Okay, is it true? Kan? So what? So what? What is the problem that you want to highlight here? So I like to define again. You're not clear the issue. You're not define the issue well. That's why sometimes things not fit together, right? So that's why we come to theoretical development, and come to methodological, and then apa bising ni? When come to research question, the most important thing, you don't really address the issue well. Understand that? That's why you need to clear the issue. What actually you have to do? The basic question about the issue is why to do this topic. Any problem? Selalunya people do something because there is problem, right? There's an issue. So what about the issue? And then is it the issue is real or is it just in your mind? Or you just assume? If real, show facts that issue is real. Because sometimes you assume it's very dangerous. Sometimes, most of the time, when you assume it's not happening, right? And you waste resource doing your research. That's why you need a research. You need to be clear, report with facts that this is current. Understand, Anissa? Okay. So I don't go through all because you must clear the first one first. Then you follow up, right? Even your literature review will based on your new your statement yang you jelas nanti, yang you can explain, right, and support. You cannot have a generic for all, And then you come to the next slide. I observe you do your literature review first, Then follow statement, You do your literature review first, then follow statement. And I know the arrangement is like that, right? You tengok. Lepas literature review. Understand not? Analisa, you dengar ni? Macam tak dengar je.
Saya rasa Dr. Izzatu Husna kena mute kot. Doktor.
Ha?
Dr. Izzatu Husna.
Apa nama ni? Okay, kalau sebenarnya you need to explore the background first. Background, that's why the background is important. Background of the issue, background of the problem statement. The background will help to understand the whole thing. And then before you come to the real issue to define. That is the important of background. Then after that, you get clear all the problem. You have cleared all the factors involved. You have cleared the research question. That will help you to develop your theoretical framework and your literature review. Because if not, a literature review is big, it's very vast, very wide. You don't know how to limit it. So your limit is your research question. So find literature only related to the problem only. Your problem statement and research question. That is your literature review. If not, the literature is too open, right? You don't know how to limit it. A never-ending story. So how to end it based on you base your literature review framework based on the problem statement and also the research question. Understand? Okay, and then your methodology. So that's why your methodology. Show me your slide. Okay, this is your framework. Okay, so no. Tak banyak. Okay, this one. Allah. Cepat benar. Jadi. Framework. Handling movement of vehicle and fire safety. Right, this is a framework. Right, this is your framework. You based on what theory?
Based on this one, sir. Mariani et al.
The way this is based, the theory based on what? What is the issue of the theory? What is the underpinning of the theory? Is it based on
she said that dia bagi tahu a few types of hazards happening in the warehouse. So we select from dia punya study, kita orang pilih 3 daripada semua ni, kita orang pilih 3 yang ni.
Nisa, if you put that one as the theory, it's not a theory. That one is not a theory because theory cannot consist of statistics. Right, theory is not consist of statistics. You know, because tadi tunjuk statistik kan, cases, right? Based on the study, right? That one is not theory. A theory is what explaining the phenomenon of warehouse operation, right? Because it includes safety lah. Okay. Okay, the one you should be clear. And then the other one, the other slide. This one is 3 factors, right? Okay, vehicle fire safety, and then so the next slide. Problem statement. Problem statement. Where does apa nama ni the factor handling to where is it? For example, right? So whatever in the framework, you should address in the causes or the factors affecting the problem, the issue in the problem statement. That's why problem statement come first. The framework come later. Understand? Okay. And then in the problem statement, the first thing you should highlight is the issue. So this is not the issue. How come you want your issue is too many? You want which one is your DV? Your issue should be your safety, right? We have safety. So what about we have safety? Right? Apa masalah dia? Apa issue dia we have safety? Issue apa? That's why you need to explore. Understand? So that will be your problem statement issue. Understand? All these things is the factors, the causing the issue. That will be your IV. Understand? Okay. Later on, you should correct this thing. And then your methodology. I think your sequence is not is haphazard. Macam tak teratur. Right? Maksudnya that's why you macam mana framework dulu, problem statement kemudian. Right? Patut problem statement dulu. Barulah come chapter in proposal lah. Chapter in the proposal atau chapter in the research report lah. Like that way lah. Understand? Okay? Methodology okay. Tengok. So methodology is important because you reflect back research question. Ada research question tak? Tengok. Tadi ada. Tak perasan. Research question. Ni. What are the factors that influence warehouse safety? How does safety? All these things are descriptive only. So are you doing a descriptive research? if descriptive research, you need to really understand, tailor-make your problem statement and research question, and amend your findings, your framework on the descriptive approach. Describe the factors only. How the research question mix with quantitative, qualitative, it mix. So you strike yourself what actually you want to do about the topic, about the maritime safety. First of all, what about maritime safety that you want to do? Because maritime safety is big. Maritime safety, like warehouse safety, is very big, right? Many issues there. So what actually under OSH ke? Application OSH under warehouse management ke? Maybe like that. Then any issue that you highlight must support with the latest reference, right? To show that it's genuine. It's not playing your mind only. Not you assume only. It's really happening. That is why you choose a topic, right? Because you will use your resources to do the research. Kalau you buat assumption saja, rugilah, kan? Your resource, kan? Maybe who knows, this topic can further up for your master's degree, kan? And I say, I think you know you want to do master, I know, right? You look like master's degree, right? Okay, alright. So faham so I banyak sangat komen kan, tak pula kan, betul senang pula kan. Okay.
Okay, thank you Sir Nizam. Alright, kalau untuk saya, how does safety affect warehouse performance? To implement the regulation, the RQ and RO. Patah balik ke research objective. Okay, to implement the regulation on warehouse performance. Perkataan implement tu, cuba bagi tahu saya, korang nak buat apa sebenarnya dalam research ni? Mula-mula nak buat apa, lepas tu nak buat apa, lepas tu korang nak buat apa? Adakah korang nak baca, korang nak analyse, korang nak cadangkan? Sebab ada perkataan implement tu, maksudnya macam korang benda tu tak ada, tapi korang nak buat. Faham tak? Cuba cerita kat saya, korang nak buat apa sebenarnya?
Kita orang sebenarnya macam nak tunjuk, kita macam nak tunjuk yang betul ke, to show that betul ke 3 factors ni yang influence warehouse safety. So kita orang pilih top 3 hazardous influence warehouse safety macam tu.
So to analyze key factors, there's go back to the IBDB. Okay, to analyze the performance or to analyze the effectiveness on handling and movement, vehicle, and fire safety towards a warehouse operation management. Sebab nak tengok kan, nak tengok key yang IB ni sekarang ni dilaksanakan ke tak, berkesan ke tak. Kalau korang dah analyse nanti nampak tak berkesan, apa cadangan korang? So datang pada objektif ketiga, to suggest sekian. Okay, alright. Nanti tengok balik objektif tu macam mana. Okay, yang tu saja untuk saya. Tengok banyak-banyak, nanti pening.
Doktor, nak tanya sikit.
Okay.
Yang untuk research objektif tu dia memang ada hierarchy dia ke?
Dia macam mana Sir Nizam? Dia macam apa yang you nak?
What's the hierarchy tu?
Maksudnya dia kena follow, kena follow the first one, then the second one kena follow the flow tu ke?
Actually, research objective follow research question. The answer of your research question will be your objective. Understand? The answer of research question number 1, objective number 1. Some research question there are many, but you can group together as one objective. Boleh juga. Some are individually they put stated like that. One research question, one objective. So to understand is the objective is the answer of a research question. Right? It should be the answer of the research question. That's it. Right? That's why you must remember scientific research is logical. It's logical. That's why I have a special method. There is a special method to use it, and all the same. So there are step there, kan? So you must follow the step. Right? Supaya chapter 1 related to chapter 2, chapter 2 related to chapter 3, chapter 3 can achieve the data of chapter 4, the right data to answer the question, chapter 5 discussion, refer back to the research question, refer back to the research review. That's your final conclusion. Right? So, kena related dan jangan lari-lari. Sebab kalau you lari-lari, objektif problem statement you lari, kan, background lari, problem statement lari, research question tak related dengan problem statement, jam. That is not scientific research. It's not logic. You must remember, scientific research is logical. It's logic, the facts and facts. Punya ada facts. That's why every statement must be quoted with reference. You must have facts. Bukan main-main buat sendiri, dia tak. So that's why they're being accepted in conferences, in journal, because the sequence, the method used is the same for all scientific research. So kena sequence, faham? Jadi bila you buat chapter 1 to 3, you can see the relationship between 1, 2 and 1, 3 and 2. Kan? So all these things are important. That's what we call proposal, because chapter 1 to 3 is very important for your research. Kalau you tak establish clearly this one, you cannot do your research. You're not clear. You're not clear. So bila tak clear, you nak buat juga, at the end, tak apa benda you buat tak tahu so. Kan? Tak ada link, tak ada relate, no relation with others. You kena synchronize sama, Azan, nak risau. Okay? So that's why you need to clear, like Dr. Husna said, clear what actually you do. So that's why we ask, why you do this topic? You cannot give the answer. What is the issue that you want to address? Because in problem statement, there's no highlight any issues. Just factor involved. Itu pun tak sama dengan framework. Why tak sama? Ini tak logik. Kan? Your research framework lain, your problem statement lain. Macam mana? Kan? Memang out lah. Kan? Kalau you Viva ni kena fundamentally wrong. Kan? So tak boleh. Kena sama. Kena support each other. Kena ada the backing up so that the sequence is there. Right? So the whole research makes sense. Supaya the whole research makes sense, logic and other facts. That one is good. Right? Okay? Any question, Nisa?
Thank you.
Nisa, satu lah.
Saya tak ada soalan lain, saya tak ada soalan lagi.
Kalau
Nanti saya tanya sir.
tanyalah. Saya insyaAllah kalau tak ada parah saya boleh jawab kan. Kalau tidak nanti aku tanya buat SB lah kan. Okay. Okay, Nisa?
Okay, terima kasih Sunizam, Dr. Izzatusna. Thank you.
One more time. You buat research kan, you tanya yourself. Aku pandai apa faham tak kau buat ni? Saya tanya kawan awak. Saya tanya awak pasal topik awak ni. Awak boleh jawab semua ke? Awak faham tak the whole process? Nampak logik tak? Nampak sequence tak? Kan? Nampak dia flow tak? Tak nampak something wrong. Right? That is the basic question you should ask yourself lah. Because scientific research is to make things clearer. Kan? Kalau bukan buat lagi haru-haru kan? Lagi tak faham kan? Salah tu. Nanti bila awak sambung master PhD dah ada ontology of research, epistemology, you kena faham background of studies this ilmu tu kan. Kena ada Faham Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you, Sir.
Assalamualaikum.
Pada pendapat saya, nak mula dekat mana sebab benda macam agak bercelarut sikit kan. Jadi nak mula daripada mana? Pada pendapat saya mula daripada RO lah. Apa aku nak buat? Macam tu. Apa aku nak buat? Like that Okay, mula balik. Boleh. Yang kedua, aku boleh ke buat dalam masa 4 bulan ni? Sebab nanti result tu mesti menjawab objektif. Okay? Okay, mula daripada situ. Right. So terima kasih. Saya Dr. MC. Terima kasih. Group GTR. So next we go to next group. Senizam, kita nak rehat 5 minit tak? Pergi toilet ke?
Ni okey lagi. Cakap ni okey.
Okey. So kita continue. Ada 6 saja.
Tinggal.
Ada lagi 3.
InsyaAllah.
InsyaAllah. Okay, kita ke group nombor 4, group Lebanon. Are you ready?
Yes, madam, wait.
Lebanon ni foreigner ke? Pilih ke penyokong ni Palestin.
Saya kurang sir. Kejap ya. Partner saya ada problem. Line problem.
Okay, jadi adakah nak proceed seorang?
Saya proceed dulu lah.
Okay, proceed.
Okay. Assalamualaikum and good evening to Dr. Husna and Dr. Nizam and our friends. So today my title is implementing halal air cargo warehouse around Kedah, Malaysia. Barrier and benefits of the implementations. So our supervisor is Prof. Madya Dr. Mustaqim Elal, and my name is Nur Atika binti Abdul Wahab, and my match number is 269488, and my partner name is Nur Fazilah binti Baharum, 269670. So this is our presentation overview. Introduction. The growing Muslim population worldwide, the notion of halal has gained more attention. Because of the growing, the consumption and marketing of halal things become more important as it is associated with quality, cleanliness, and safety as stated by the Sharia principle. The major crucial elements that should be focused on the air cargo warehouse in order to keep and deliver halal item is that product must be never be contaminated with non-halal products. As a result, there are certain things that researchers must be emphasized and consider while indicating halal air cargo warehouse. So in this literature review, we'll be taking deeper look on the things that need to be emphasized. First one is halal and non-halal control activities. Control of halal and non-halal activities are the critical in the developing a strong halal warehouse. This thing make every effort to decrease your sensitivity to halal contaminations. So the second one is halal certifications. So halal certification in Malaysia is offer numerous advantages, including increased market segmentation, hygiene, safety, and the ability to attract Muslim tourists from across the world. For the halal storage and transportation, the quality of halal things cover the cleanliness and all hygiene, safety, preparation, storage, and purification aspect, which are called tayyib, mean wholesome or purity, nutritious, and safe. So for the product arrangement producer, which is for the logistic companies, the criteria for managing halal items are quite strict. There is a policy in the warehouse to break the chain in halal control efforts.
That is, there always the possibility of cross-contamination between halal and non-halal items throughout the supply chain process. A broker chain, for example, is conceivable during the receiving, storage, shipping, order picking, and cross-docking. So for the halal barriers and benefits of implementation is according to Walker, government intervention may be a barrier or facilitator for new logistical phenomenon, and the government is the barrier in halal warehouse. So Timan 2006 state that the adequate warehouse handling and storage activities are critical in preserving the halal integrity of halal items. So for the problem statement, I will pass to my partner.
Assalamualaikum. So I will continue about problem statement. So in this research, for the problem is halal certification is a time-consuming and costly process that can result in production downtime. Problem occur when the required certified certificate is not available and when needed. So for consequences, without a proper way to deal with the issue, eventually the management will face a problem to make the best decision in this problem. This also lead to loss opportunity in plant production. So for the idea, therefore the ability to choose the right way to deal with the halal certification issues we quite important for management discussion. And next, we talk about research question and objective. For research question number 1, what the main requirement for a halal certified warehouse? And the research objective to determine the main requirement for a halal certified warehousing. Research question number 2, what is the distinction between non-halal and halal production handling in Malaysia in cargo warehouse? For objective, to identify the product arrangement procedure at warehouse of halal and non-halal product. And lastly, for research question, what are the barriers and the benefit in implementing the halal cargo warehouse? And for objective, to identify barriers and benefit of the implementation halal cargo warehouse. Next.
So for this research, mainly we use primary method and secondary method. For the first one, primary method include research design, sample design, and population sample and unit of analysis. So for the research design we will approach a quantitative approach. The types of investigation is descriptive study, and the study setting will be conducted within Kedah area. For sample design, the questionnaire will be distributed through the email to the chosen air cargo company, and the population will be involved the workers at the air cargo warehouse around the Kedah. So for data analysis method, we will analyze the data using SPSS and the data source. This study also we use the primary source, and the data collection method is distribute the questionnaire through the Google form to all the workers at the air cargo warehouse. So for the secondary data collection methods, we will use journal, books, and article. And this is our theoretical framework. Halal and non-halal control activities, halal certification, and halal storage, transportation, and product arrangement will stand for IV, and the barrier and benefits will stand for dependent variables. And internal and external factor will stand for mediating variables.
So for the scope and limitation, this study will use a cargo warehouse located around the Kedah area. And this study filled in the research gap exists between the need for halal cargo because there is a need to find the reason behind the barrier to a halal cargo warehouse. Next. Lastly, for significance of the study, the responder to comprehend the basic notion of halal cargo warehousing and external and internal impediment element that impact halal cargo warehouse operation directly or indirectly. The creation of halal cargo warehouse include establishing a designated halal zone, labeling, segregation, and most importantly, raising awareness among operator and the general public. And as the changes of creating a halal cargo storage may be overcome. So that's all from me.
Okay.
Thank you. So Nizam, can you comment first?
Apa ni tunjuk slide title.
Slide title. This sir.
Besar sikit.
Sekejap sir.
Implementing halal halal air cargo warehouse around Kedah, Malaysia. Around Kedah. Very okay. Why you want to do this topic?
Because as we know, dekat Malaysia sekarang hanya Mas Kargo yang buat halal kargo. So maybe kita orang nak kaji apa ni faktor-faktor dalaman dan luaran yang menyebabkan lain-lain air cargo tak buat halal kargo ni. Halal warehouse ni.
Cargo warehouse. Air cargo.
Yes.
First of all, you need is there any halal cargo activities in Kedah airport?
What's that?
Okay, you're talking about halal air cargo, right?
Yes, sir.
Definitely affect airport, right? Kan? So Kedah airport ni macam mana? Ada tak freight cargo, freight traffic? Ada freight traffic? Ada tak Kedah?
Ada rasanya.
Ada rasanya. Tapi saya tak rasa pun. Okay. Kena ada bukti lah. Ada tak? Halal cargo.
Ada sir, ada.
Halal air cargo yang Kedah airport ada ke? Ada rasanya. Tak boleh rasanya.
Ada sir.
You buat scientific research. Mana boleh rasa-rasa. Bukan masak-masak kan. Okay. So check back. That one you must check back. And then the reason the topic is not clear. Kan? You nak implement apa halal air cargo warehouse? Kan? Benefit and barrier implementation. Apa dia tu? Implement apa? Betul tak? Macam apa anak nak implement apa? Barriers and benefit of implementation of implementing halal air cargo warehouse tu apa benda? Ke salah bahasa tahu ni? Bukan implementation kot, bukan implementing kot. Apa dia nak mewujudkan mewujudkan.
Mewujudkan.
Mewujudkan implementing. Topik awal ni banyak question mark. Pertama sekali, ada tak bisnes air cargo, air freight di Jakarta? Kalau tak ada, kenapa nak ada halal air cargo warehouse? Nak hantar ke Penang ke? So the background of study is you need to do a very complete one. Meaning that you must have statistics say showing that there's many halal air cargo freight that's been transport from been moved from Malaysia to Penang for air transportation. Okay, katakan Kedah tak ada lah. Kalau Kedah ada, how many the volume? Kalau ada bukti. Kalau tak, apa yang nak buat tapi ni? Kan? Tak ada requirement, tak ada needs. Kan? Nak study pun tak guna sebab tak ada needs kan? Memanglah ada barrier pun tak ada kan? Tak ada barrier. Sebab tak diperlukan. Tahu saya airport Kedah ni, handle passenger saja. Itu pun daripada 3 airline dengan 2 airline lah. Aku tak tahulah dan juga mesti haji kan, tu je. Jadi saya tak ada kot. Tapi awak kata ada, kena prove lah kan, kena prove. And then you don't answer why. Kan, the answer why you stop. Kan, tak boleh terjawab. Okay, and then you see your theoretical framework. Your framework.
Framework, ajak.
Okay, framework ni, the DB is barrier and benefit of the implementation of areas and benefit of having halal air cargo warehouse. Right? Okay, your IB will be halal and halal control activities. Halal apa benda IB awak tak relevan lah dengan awak punya DB, faham tak? Dia kalau nak buat juga lah kan, tapi tengok tak ada macam mana halal certification dengan barriers and benefit implementation. Itu, and then you are the mediating. You have mediating factors. You know what is mediating factors? You tahu apa dia? Apa dia?
Dia
Ni bukan rasa-rasa Apa dia?
tak saya.
Ada tengok nak buka Google.
Kan saya ada catat.
Mediating ni kalau you nak buat SEM, structure application modeling, you nak test data factor, effect. Okay, ini not your level lah. You buat basic sudah lah kan, IBTB cukup. Ya, dan dia kalau nak buat pun ni tak ada cukup masa. Kan, you need more tutors on the matter. You kenapa buat mediating? You nak buat ke? Nak tambah ke? Kenapa you adakan mediating?
Nak tambah.
IBDB dah boleh buat dah, cukup lah. IB awak pun tak jelas kan. Some I think not relevant with the DB. Even DB pun tak jelas lah kena. I think you should discuss back again lah dengan you punya SB. Because I think you're wrong. To me lah, the topic is wrong. Tapi nak buat juga up to you lah kan. Tapi clear, your topic is not clear. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Balik dengan you punya SB ataupun Dr. Sunan komen lain, kita buat ikut lah.
Okay, thank you Sunizam. Alright, okay. Tajuk ni best. Okay. Tapi saya rasa apa yang korang nak buat, mula-mula korang nak tengok apa benefit halal kargo ni. Kan, perlu ke tak? Kenapa perlu? Sebab demand. Kalau ada customer nak halal kargo, baru kita boleh usahakan untuk halal kargo. Betul tak? Kalau orang Islam pun tak kisah halal tak halal, tak ada demand, kenapa kita nak susah payah nak work on halal kargo kan? Nak buat satu division khas dekat warehouse tu untuk benda yang halal. So benda ni adalah demand. Okay, so kamu nak tengok, you want to look on the benefit of halal cargo. And then you want to look on the current implementation. Which warehouse already implement the halal cargo, right? Which country already implement the halal cargo? And then I think you think that now in Malaysia, we still not used to the halal cargo things. Am I correct?
Yes.
So what you would like to do is you want to create awareness and you want to know why we don't work on implementing halal cargo. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So berpegang dengan apa yang awak nak buat. Okay? Berpegang dengan tu. Jangan orang kata apa, kadang-kadang kita tak sure apa aku nak buat. Rasanya boleh kot. Ada kot population tu. Okay? Yang penting kita berpegang dengan kita punya objektif tu. Buat. Ini je aku nak buat. Yang lain tu tak tepi. Sebab nampak dalam framework ni banyak sangat. Okay? So, baca balik apa yang saya cakap tadi. Ubah balik RO tadi. Tengok balik conceptual framework tu macam mana. Untuk mendapat objektif yang kita nak tadi. Okay?
Okay.
Itu saja untuk saya.
Thank you,
Any
Doktor.
question? Okay. So, kita teruskanlah Senizam, boleh?
Boleh.
Okay. So now we go to group 5. Mustang. Saya pun tak tahu Mustang ke Mustang ke.
Yes,
Yes. Ya.
Group 6 nak pergi dulu boleh?
Pergilah.
Laju sangat. Nak potong ke?
Dia orang okey, yang group Mustang okey.
Okay, Mini Cooper pergi dulu.
Okay.
Mini Cooper pergi pada slow. Nanti Mustang pergi.
Macam mana nak?
Bye. Okay, dia fly istirahat.
Jalan tu.
Ni second last.
Sekejap
Second.
Siapa ni? Putri.
Betul saya, Doktor.
Ya. Ni siapa ni? Ain.
Ain.
Ain ni dia punya lah.
Sekejap
Usna ni presiden ni.
Aku bila sempat tak station. Ke tak ada?
Belum.
Aku tak share lagi. Dah. Apa tak?
Tak nampak. Bagi besar
Ya.
Impact.
Dah boleh minta Doktor? Sir.
Sekarang.
Okey, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Betul ada tak? Dia rehat sekejap.
Oh, Dr. Husna tak ada ke?
Tak ada.
Oh, saya start ke nak tunggu Dr. Husna?
Betul senang.
Alright, okay.
Apa SB ni?
Dr. Amy, sir.
Patut nampak clear sikit. Bagus ada clear sikit tajuk. Yes, kita tajuk nampak.
Tengok tajuk dah nampak.
Oh.
Nampak boleh faham lah. Tapi is a case study, orang dapat permission mungkin pergi. Dah ada permission.
Sir, suara sir sangkut-sangkut.
Dah ada permission PKT tak?
Yang tu nanti saya confirmkan balik dengan PKT lah. Sebab kita orang dah ada number contact dah. Contact number.
Yelah, contact number kan dia tak bagi. Macam mana? Kalau dia tak bagi?
Dr. Amy yang bagi. Dr. Amy
Yelah.
nak.
It's a case study, you need to have permission. Because you mentioned the company, right? Ticketing logistik itu nampak tu. Kan? Kalau dia tak bagi, tak boleh buat. Tak boleh buat orang pergi, kena buat orang lain lah. Ataupun betul
Saya dapatkan confirmation daripada pihak PKD.
Tanya Badrul tu. So Badrul, kenal Badrul? Kenal Badrul?
Saya memang kontak Encik Bat.
Kontak Jebat. Nak buat research ni. First of all, apa nama ni, sekarang ni warehouse picking ni automated ke?
Belum lagi. Dia belum 100% automated. Sebab dia kan ada 12 way kan, 12 warehouse tu.
Why you want to study the impact of implementing? Implementing maksudnya dah laksana.
Dia belum laksana lagi sir, belum.
Tapi ini implementing. Maksudnya dah laksana.
Dia macam ni, dia semi macam mana, dia semi automated. Jadi kita nak move kepada fully automated macam tu.
Jadi ini tadi impact of implementing. Maksudnya kalau nak buat automated, apa impact dia? Kalau dia nak buat automated, apa impact dia?
Betul. Macam kalau fully automated tu, apa impact dia? So sekarang ni dia baru halfway implement automated warehouse tu. Jadi kalau dah fully, sebab dia still ada yang tak siap lagi warehouse dia. Jadi kat situ saya nak ambil skop yang itulah, yang dah siap tu dulu. Macam mana progress dekat situ untuk implement the whole warehouse.
Why not you do? Kalau ni dia tak buat lagi kan? Sekarang ni tak buat lagi.
Belum.
Jadi why not you ask them barriers of implementing? Barriers to implement automated warehouse, barrier apa sebab tak buat? Barriers, factor dia. That one, kan? Sebab memang dia tak buat lagi, dia punya nak tahu kenapa dia tak buat. Kan? That is more, I think. But ni dia impact of implementing ni maksudnya macam dia dah buat tau, kan? Implementing ni dah buat. Kan? Betul tak?
Betul.
Implementing maksud apa dah buat kan? Implement dah buat. Implementing dah buat. Implementation akan buat.
Okay. So nanti saya buat implementation lah kot untuk ni.
Awak cakap dia kerana
Saya fikir.
terus nak ada ke?
Sekejap sir. Tak dengar sangat.
You contact dia?
Okay, nanti saya contact dia.
Asal Nizam, dah habis ke? Belum mula lagi kan? Kalau belum mula lagi kan Ain?
Belum.
Tunggu Dr. Husna.
Saya pergi rata. Okey. Mula.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat petang. Jadi kami daripada grup Mini Cooper di bawah seliaan Dr. Amy Azura, kami akan discuss lah pasal proposal defense kami, iaitu tajuk dia Impact of Implementing an Automated Warehouse Towards Electric Control, a Case Study in PKT Logistics. Nama saya Aisyah Fika, so saya akan start dulu. Dan ni partner saya.
Muhammad Ibn Fauzi, nombor entry 273 609.
Jadi saya akan start dululah dengan proposal overview. So kami punya proposal ni fokusnya ada tiga chapter lah, which is introduction, literature review dan juga research methodology. And so introduction adalah kami fokus kepada tiga pecahan, iaitu automated warehouse, inventory control dan juga warehouse operation. So untuk automated warehouse, warehousing management system WMS is a necessary approach for every warehouse. An automated warehousing system provide less effort, more efficient and reliable result compared to manual handled system. WMS is designed to help reduce costs through every effective warehouse process. So the citation is from technical white paper. And inventory control, maintaining an adequate supply of goods in the goals of inventory control, also known as stock control. This method guarantees the company ability to meet consumer demands and provide financial elasticity through strict adherence to internal and production regulation from SDSA 2022. For warehouse operation, the need for automating the warehouse arise from the fact that manual handling may cause human error, which may affect the warehouse utilization from technical white paper also. Okay, so next ialah background of the study. So for background of the study, this research is important because in order to meet the needs of their consumer quickly and affordably, business are focusing their intention on improving their inventory control system. There is no denying that a better inventory management, improve a business efficiency and increase in profitability is directly correlated to improve inventory control, which is turned to lead the streamlined process, lower cost and larger bottom line. And this research aimed to demonstrate the value of using effective inventory control system in storage facility. This research will be held in PKT Logistics near Berhad at Kuala Penang because of the warehouse capacity suitable to apply the automation machinery. Next is problem statement. So for problem statement, improper storaging system that lead to the damage of the goods of one's organization. Major and minor mistakes similar in warehousing and delivery can result in high losses. Improper storage can damage the goods from Nathan Andiapilai 2020. And then excessive inventory with no proper scheduling in inbound and outbound of the warehouse of the inventory. These factors that leads to excessive inventory are consequences of the fact that there are no integrated business management process that manage inventory and balance in the supply and demand from MG Matsabela and K Mofu 2015.
For the scope of study,
and then for consequences, large losses can be incurred by both significant and minor error in delivery and warehousing. The product may be harmed by improper storage. If the damage of goods are sold, they will either be sold for a significantly cheaper price or won't be able to be sold at all. So the producer will incur losses and won't be able to make a profit. And the ideal way to control is to use the right method, technique to ensure the efficiency of both worker and movement of the goods in terms of handling the whole warehouse area by using automated warehouse system. Make sure that all workers follow the guidelines that have been set up for them to prevent any problem in the future. And then for the scope of study, I pass to Ifan.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. For the beginning, scope of study, we will study inventory control at the warehouse that is located at Batu Kawan, Kedah, which is PKT Logistics. Then the scope we study cover about inventory warehouse department, company itself. For the sample size, we are convenient sample depend how many staff work at the PKT Logistics in Berhad. Okay, for the significance of study, we have two type. We have for the classification, identify the connection between technology, labor, competence, and finance capability, and inventory control. Second, can connect to technology taking inventory system technology into the account. For the PKT logistics, we have method to help warehouse and inventory department maintain the efficiency of the automated warehouse by serving as generated guideline. And lastly, warehouse manager would be better equipment to choose which technology will work best at the automated warehouse. For the literature review, we use conceptual framework, which is we have 3 IV independent variable, which is technology, work skill, and financial. And for the dependent variable, we have inventory control. For inventory control, as defined by OBLO, is process ensure that right amount of high quality item are delivered to right location at the right time. It is a method to transporting item from the one location to other without risk of damage. And second, we have proper inventory control system is organization in country is vital necessity since it help improve various area which is management effective. Is from OBLO and operate. Management-based inventory control involve making a projection, establish objective and using directive and instruction. We go to the independent variable. First, we have technology. According by Dong Yang, technological development by the boom in the e-commerce, the logistics sector in the currently undergoing a far-reach change in the production process. This dynamic could be well lead the relation change in the working and employment condition in the sector, which is demand and manual labor in the very high. This are supporting by the article by Dong Yang. For the worker skill, we have to it mentioned about possible advanced development by regulating skill worker choosing if that regulation greatly expand certain freedom other meet to their basic need and live they wish. Much assessing evidence, some new evidence suggests that regarding skill worker to address the underlying cause, skill make great choice generally bring few benefit to others and often bring diverse unintended harm. It from level, Joshua level. For the last independent variable, we have financial capacity. Financial capacity refer that ensure the best use appreciate infrastructure to meet business need currently in the business through a proper understanding both business infrastructure and requirement. This article supported by Brooks in 2006.
Next is for research question and also research objective. For research question, the first one is what are the capability of technology in an automated warehouse toward the inventory control? The second one is what is the importance of worker skills toward the inventory control? And the last one is what is the way of managing the organization affecting the inventory control? And the research objective is to identify the capability of technology in automated warehouse towards the inventory control, to explain the importance of worker skills toward the inventory control, and the last one is to identify the managerial factor of the organization towards the inventory control. So for the research methodology,
they use the type research qualitative. For the data collection method, we use a survey, interview, and open-end question. For the sample design, we use a sample, convenience sample. For the population, we have 403 number of workers at the PKT logistic. For the target sample, minimum we need to meet 50 number of workers.
So that's all from Beth. Okay. Done, Doctor.
Okay. Okay, Senizam dulu.
No, ini tajuk ni clear sikit lah, tapi macam saya tanya Ain tadi kan, what is the percentage of PKT been automated warehouse, their warehouse? Is it 100% automated? Is it only how many percent? You know?
How many percent untuk yang dah start, Doktor?
How many percent the warehouse PKT has been automated?
Untuk tu yang untuk automated warehouse tu, maksud saya dia orang baru start buka the sixth generation of the warehouse.
What do you mean?
Sixth
generation apa?
Macam dia dah sampai ke tahap 6 lah instead of 6 instead of 12, so 50%.
6 tu 6 wave ke ataupun
6 wave.
Bukan teknologi tu. Itu warehouse dia nombor 6. Kan? Warehouse nombor 6. Bukannya teknologi dia level 6. So how far? That what is under your, it could be under your background of information, background study.
Okay.
So because like I mentioned just now, before the presentation, I mentioned that because the term implementing, impact of implementing, right? Implementing ni meaning that kalau dia buat semua, what's the impact, right? I think apa nama ni, it's interesting to know, but actually you need to know how many percent that they have gone through automated, right? Right. So later on, you can see based on the literature that you go through as compared to fully automated warehouse, and their warehouse is not fully automated. So what is the impact, the benefit? Impact, usually you use impact for something negative, not impact. But it is one, you want to go for negativity or you want to go positivity? You want to implementing impact though. Usually impact ni is refer to impact, kesan kan. Kesan positive or negative. So you're looking for positive impact or negative impact?
Positive impact.
Impact ada dua type. Dua perspektif, satu positif, satu negatif, right? Kalau positif memanjang, kenapa dia tak implement warehouse automated, the whole automation? Bukan not the whole warehouse, the whole automation, right? So this is the thing lah. So meaning that there must be some barriers also, right? The barrier why they don't want to implement, is it because of expensive? Right. These are the things like one you need to ponder, right? The other thing is that your problem statement, the issue is that they are not fully automated. Is it true?
Problem statement.
Okay. The issue is they're not fully automated. Then you want to know the impact, right? So what is the significance of it? Meaning that you want to know the impact of implementing fully automated. By right, the existing automation, any problem? No? Ada masalah dah kalau dia sekarang punya keadaan lah.
Bagi saya kalau macam yang current ni, mungkin masalah dia untuk sustain dia punya ni lah, maksudnya inbound dia mungkin dekat situ akan ada masalah kalau kita tak automated kan the whole warehouse. Sebab dia ada dia PKT logistik dia provide perishable goods. So dekat situ saya rasa dia akan ada masalah itu. Sebab hari tu pun saya pergi PKT, dia ada membincangkan juga pasal perishable goods ni. So dekat situ automated warehouse and the suitable yang teknologi yang guna current teknologi punya warehouse tu diperlukan lah untuk warehouse dia.
Okay, your DV is inventory control. Your IV is more on automated warehouse. So the factors affecting automated warehouse is what? See your framework.
Technology, financial and also worker skills untuk
Technology, worker skill, financial. Basically, you are studying automated warehouse, right? The effect, how it relate, how to effect lah. Inventory control, right? Right.
Yes.
So what to do with worker skill? What to do with financial? So you need to focus on the automated warehouse itself. What sort of automated that they should do?
For worker skill tu sir, for worker skill tu saya fokus, we focus on the experience and the skill of using the current technology itself. To use the current technology of the automated warehouse.
The financial?
For financial is financial status from the company to ensure they can find the automated warehouse cost lah, cost punya warehouse tu, automated warehouse tu.
But that's why your title is impact of implementing automated warehouse on inventory control. So I think you should focus on the automated warehouse element.
Okay.
Like just now, the impact ada benefit, satu ada good impact, ada bad impact, right? Financial is bad impact, right? Your focus, I think, is not on to see the impact of benefit, the positive or negative. You want to see the impact of technology, right? Toward inventory control. So I think your IV should detail out the automatic warehouse tu, apa dia element.
Okay.
How does this automated relate to inventory control? There is a study on automated warehouse. I think that is a thing lah, because nothing have to do with financial. Because financial is automated warehouse, right? Financial is the soft requirement of the warehouse, right? So you study on the automated warehouse itself. So what is the automated warehouse? Must define. And then what technology consists of automated warehouse? And what technology that they have implemented? What technology they don't have implemented yet? So what is the impact of that technology on inventory control? Understand?
Jadi maksudnya dekat independent variable tu saya memang fokus kepada automated warehouse punya elemen lah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maksudnya saya fokus kepada elemen automated warehouse.
Automated warehouse.
Okay.
On inventory control. Before you can do that, you need to understand automated warehouse, and then you need to know what actually have been implemented automated warehouse technology in PKT, right? And what yet not be implemented. So if they implement, what's the impact to the existing one, existing output, existing inventory control, right? Understand? So you focus on automated warehouse itself. The impact of automated warehouse on inventory control, right? So you must explore the automated warehouse, right?
Okay, sir. All right, sir.
And the second one is the methodology. So the research question later on is straightforward. You think technology to inventory control, right? Okay.
Okay.
So it's straightforward because you are testing very objective now. So you are looking at the technology of automatic warehouse towards inventory control. That's the thing, right?
Okay.
So you must know.
Sir.
Okay. In terms of inventory control, what is all about inventory control? Okay. So the other thing is that your methodology is wrong. Okay, you're talking about qualitative research, right? Put sampling there, sampling you a lot. Qualitative research cannot be too many sample. It's
Sample. Okay.
400. 400 pekerja banyak. Alright, kalau you buat qualitative, you need to interview 400 orang.
Kita orang nak.
Ya kan? Nak interview berapa orang? Malam, tengah malam, awak kerja itu orang. Kan?
Macam untuk yang untuk sampling ni Dr. Amy suggest group kami untuk buat survey tapi pilih minimum 15 worker yang daripada various management macam various punya level.
Survey ke interview?
Dia buat interview tapi dalam bentuk survey. Betul. Maksudnya survey tapi buat open-ended question.
Questionnaire lah.
Dia macam question macam mana Dr. Amy suruh buat macam questionnaire tapi masukkan interview soalan interview sebab kita tak nak makan masa lama sangat.
Tak, awak punya population 403 orang. Sampel awak 15 plus. 18 orang.
Target sampel 15. Minimum lah. 15 orang.
Your population is 400. 400 is the whole workers of spaghetti, right? Your population is the workers of the warehouse only. Yang affecting by inventory control. How many? That is the population. Out of the whole PKT, bukan semua terlibat dengan inventory, betul tak?
Betul.
Terlibat dengan inventory saja. Berapa orang? Atau kan dengan warehouse lah automated kan berapa orang. Then from there you take a sample. Okay? Kalau tak ramai, your population your sample lah. Faham tak? Kalau katakan 18 semua awak your sample lah kan? Walaupun di population awak, faham tak? Okay? Population it should be stated that the workers that involved in inventory control or warehouse management or warehouse operation. That is the thing. Then kalau kata ramai, selected 15 saja. Kalau tak ramai, the whole population is sample. Right? Understand?
Alright, sir.
So usually kalau 15, you apa nama? You can interview one by one, no problem.
Okay.
Because kalau you give a question open-ended to them, open-ended question is very ambiguous. You know ambiguous? Very vague. You know vague? Ambiguous tak tahu, vague tak tahu. Tahu tak?
Tahu.
Apa dia ambiguous?
Apa dia, sir?
Ambiguous tu apa? Awak tak dengar tapi dia tahu ya semua.
Saya tak dengar.
Tak dengar tak?
Tak dengar.
Apa maksud ambiguous?
Ambiguous.
Tak tahu. Vague? Tak tahu. Tak jelas. Soalannya open-ended. Soalan open tau tak? Tak jelas. Jadi kalau open question ni dia akan interpret a lot of things. Faham tak? Jadi eloknya awak kena ada situ. Apa maksud soalan ni? Boleh terang. Soalan ni maksud dia boleh jawab. Dengan baik, dengan tepat. Kalau tidak nanti jawapan awak akan bias. Sebab dia tak faham. And soalan dia boleh masuk yang banyak kan? Because dia umum. Right? So jangan pakai questionnaire, jangan hantar administered. Faham? Jadi awak nak analyze pakai apa ni? You nak analyze data pakai apa?
Saya dengar tak, sir?
Dengar. Awak dengar tak?
Macam mana?
Awak analyze data pakai apa?
Dalam data pakai Dr. Amy akan macam dia dah kumpulkan response. Dia dah kumpul respon baru kita.
Yelah, pakai apa untuk analyze data? Data awak kualitatif. Kualitatif pun data juga, tapi pakai kaedah apa nak analyze? Dia kena analyze juga. Kan? Walaupun dia kualitatif. Pakai apa? Tak tahu. You pakai en vivo. kuantitatif pakai SPSS kan? Terkenal kan, kuantitatif SPSS. Ya, apa nama ni, ataupun SAS orang tak popular sangat SPSS. Itu kuantitatif. Kualitatif pakai NBivo 7 ke 11 dah sekarang ni kan. Ataupun pakai apa nama, pakai NUDIS, pakai apa nama ni, apa nama tu, pakai NBivo lagi apa ni? Kan? Itu semua app komputer yang menganalisakan kualitatif data. Ataupun you buat manually, you pakai thematic analysis. Analysis menggunakan tema-tema. That is qualitative data lah. Okay. You kena tahu ni semua, Anin. Nanti you nak analyse macam mana, tak tahu. Kan? Ain dengar tak dengar ni?
Dengar.
Mana gambar tak ada ni?
Tak nampak.
Banyak awak pakai kamera. Mukri pakai kamera. Awak pakai kamera.
Tak nampak.
Irfan pakai Webex kan? Too many Webex.
Saya nampak tak muka saya?
Nampak. Alright, so that's the thing. So itu sajalah. Okay, hopefully you discuss balik dengan SB. Mention back whatever my concern just now about automated, right? Because human skill dengan financial is not related with automated warehouse. That one in the soft one. The automated warehouse ni talking about IT, internet technology, right? So what is the technology on the warehouse that affect inventory control? You should measure that one lah. Right? Kalau tak dengan bubuh automated warehouse, you bubuh don't mention implementation of automated warehouse because you say that it's about technology, it's about machinery, it's about apa nama ni machine, material handling ke, all those things on related to warehouse management or warehouse operation and that control the inventory. And that should be. And kalau you nak start sebut on training lah, on financial lah, on apa nama ni management commitment lah kan, that one dah lain cerita kan. Nampak tak? That one a different research pula. Boleh buat lagi. Okay. So setakat tu Dr. Husna, so boleh proceed.
Okay, thank you Senizam. Saya pun tak ada banyak sangat, cuma itu je lah. Dekat tajuk tu ada perkataan automated. Kemudian ke belakang-belakang tu macam dah lost. Macam dah tak fokus kepada automated things. Macam Senizam cakap lah. Okay. Boleh? Faham? Dengar tak?
Dengar.
Okay. Macam yang Senizam cakap tadi lah, bila ke belakang, ke theoretical, ke conceptual framework, ke problem statement tu macam unsur-unsur automated tu macam dah lost. Okay, kalau kita memang fokus nak buat automated, kita fokus yang tu saja sampai habis. Okay. Yang kedua tadi mula saya confuse juga, sorry.
Saya gunakan anything cockpit.
Tak apa. Mula-mula tadi saya confuse juga. Saya siap buka lagi rumah sekarang punya sampling table untuk 400 lebih kan. Lepas tu, baru saya dapat korang nak buat interview. Okay. Dia ada structured dan semi-structured. Kalau structured ni dalam 5 orang, 3 orang. Kalau semi-structured ni maksud 15 orang lah, 10 ke 15 orang. So beza structured dengan semi-structured ni. Structured ni sebenarnya kita interview orang-orang yang memang expert lah. Memang engineer, manager level. Kalau yang semi-structured 15 ni, anybody that involved in that matter. Siapa-siapa yang terlibat walaupun dia punya pangkat tu bawah-bawah sahaja. Jadi bila tiba-tiba ada dua perkataan survey, linked skill, dia jadi macam bertindan di situ. Macam korang nak buat mixed method ke? Macam tu. Korang nak buat mixed method ke? Memang ada. Boleh mixed method. Okay, mula-mula korang buat linked skill dulu. Lepas tu bawah tu korang interview. Itu kita panggil yang mula-mula yang quantitative linked skill tu kita panggil exploratory. Korang nak tahu secara dasar saja. Lepas tu korang ke bawah, korang buat interview pula. Itu sebab korang nak tahu deeper. Deep. Itu kita panggil mixed mode. Persoalannya, korang mampu ke buat mixed mode dalam masa beberapa bulan ni? Adakah kualitinya akan bagus kalau korang usaha gigih pulun lah minta pulun nak buat juga mixed mode tu. Okay. Itu saja yang saya nak kongsi lah. Yang lain tak ada apa-apa. Right. So thank you very much untuk group Mini Cooper. Kita ke last group Mustang.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Say.
Habis.
Okay. So the floor is yours, okay?
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from Sorry, doctor, we are in the one frame because the sound is weird.
You must mute one.
Yes, doctor.
One device you must mute, and also off the speaker. Use only one device for the sound. Okay.
So use this device. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang from Group Mustang. I am Miss Rinati Putri.
I Hati Mulia Fahmi bin Muhammad Najib Fahmi.
So we are, our title for the research is an investigation of the plastic recycling system, a perspective from Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. So this is the proposal outline. We will discuss about this. So about the background study, I realized that between our surroundings, there must be plastics. So the wide use of plastics is undeniable because they are strong and they are flexible, and they can be utilized for many uses. And then the cheap and the widespread is having the potential to pollute the environment because they are difficult to degrade, and then they can cause problem if they are just being in the landfill. And they can be dissolved in 20 and up to 100 years, and it can be harming for the environment. So we will discuss the background of study in Jakarta and in Kuala Lumpur. So the first one is in Jakarta. Jakarta produced 7.2 tons of total trash in 2021, and 40% of them is plastic.
And then flexible plastic that are commonly used in plastics packaging are um, are are found to be 244 tons specifically for flexible plastics, and 2.99% are recycled, and then the 7.78% are processed in the waste of our plant, and then the rest are not managed. Then the household waste handling that is commonly used, carried out by local government, is landfill waste. So we want to discuss about the household plastic waste, and they are commonly end up being in a landfill. And the trash from Jakarta is sent to the Bekasi, to the final integrated waste disposal in Bekasi. And then this is the flow for flexible plastics. Flexible plastic is just the representation of all the plastics. All the plastics have the same flow as this one. So the waste collectors in Indonesia are currently in R3. So the Dinas Lingkungan Hidup, DLH, as the local from the local authority, and then waste bank, community based, and also waste picker that will submit their waste to the larger waste aggregators. So, and then the government actually have initiated some policy to help reduce the plastic waste, such as zero waste policy in 2020, that limit the use of plastic bags in supermarkets and shopping malls. Next to the Kuala Lumpur.
And we go to Kuala Lumpur. In 1 June 2008, Solid Waste and Public Places Management Corporation, known as SW Corp Malaysia, we established in Kuala Lumpur as a new government organization responsible for solid waste management, BPKL 2022. There are 161,000 tons of plastic waste are produced annually in Kuala Lumpur by UN Escape 2020. Most household waste consists of 35% of plastic waste is plastic bags, 90% plastic bottle, and 50% plastic film, and 12% single-use food service plastic. Then we move to the next slide. Literature review. The first is reverse logistics. Over time, reverse logistics, known as RL, research has changed, and various definitions of RL have been proposed by researchers. The process of managing the efficient flow from the point of consumption to the point of origin to recapture or create value or proper dispose by Roger and Tiblen and Limbeck 1992. Okay, then recycling system of plastic. As much plastic can be recycled, plastic waste recycling requires both collection and separation to be used to make a new product. But the primary problem with recycling plastic is the variety of plastic, and the highest motivation for recycling is perceived effectiveness, where people are more inclined to engage and or participate more fully if they believe it is effective.
Okay, so we have so the plastic recycling system is the dependent variable, and these are the independent variable. We have the situational factors, which are the external factors that influence the household behavior, and then the personal factors are the household behavior. So we have sub-factors for situational factors. There are accessibility and availability, infrastructure, and then education. And for the personal factor, we have the sub-factors, self-efficacy and self-awareness. So this is our theoretical framework. We are using this. We have the situational factors and then the personal factors. that are connected and interact in symbiosis effect, and then they influence the plastic recycling system. We are using the theory from a symbiosis perspective theory by A. Jalil. And brief about the theory. This theory is used to explain the relationship on situational and personal factors. And this theory are already have and A. Jalil have many publications about reverse logistics. So we are thinking that this theory are very related to our research. So we are using this theory. Then for the problem statement, we also separate between Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur, where Jakarta have the first problem is including the situational and personal factors, where the waste management ecosystem are not yet in priority because we have to reduce the plastic use, we have to make the innovation to the packaging, we have to recovering, recycling, and collecting them in the right way. So the the second one is the 3R process. It's more into the situational factors, and we want to get the community participation, which is the personal factors. And the last one is public awareness that are not accompanied by real actions, which is more on personal factors. And then in the Kuala Lumpur side, we have found out that there are some challenges in plastic management, such as limited public knowledge, low recycling rates, expensive price for alternatives, and then lack of municipal enforcement, and then lack of integrated waste management, which are kind of more to situational factors. And the second one is more on the lack of understanding and lack of actions from the household. So it is more on the personal factors.
Then we move to research question and objective. The first research question is, what are situation and personal factors that influence the plastic recycling system of Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur? RO1 is to examine the situational and personal factor that influences the plastic recycling system of Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. The RQ number 2 is, what are the challenges is the plastic recycling system in Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur? And RO2 is to examine the challenges in the plastic recycling system in Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. The last is, what the relationship between situational and personal factor in the plastic recycling system in Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. And RO the last is to examine the relationship between situational and personal factor in the plastic recycling system in Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. We next are to scope and significance of the study. The scope of the study involves the recycling system that focus on plastic of household under municipal plastic management, waste management. Second is the survey of the study targeting household in two capital cities, Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. And then the study also will use the study also used the concept of symbiosis perspective developed by A. Jalil et al. Then is significance of study. The study aims to find out the factor contributing to the recycling system of plastic in Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. And then the study also focused on environmental, social, and government aspect of the plastic recycling system. Expected to explain the relationship between household, contribute, and government authority in the plastic recycling system in Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. And then this study also relates to this SD goal, means number 11 and 12.
Okay, now we move on to the research methodology. So we are using the quantitative methods for our research, and the sampling techniques are probability sampling method with a stratified random sampling technique. And the first sampling design, we have the population of Jakarta, which is more than 10 million people, and population of Kuala Lumpur more than 1 million. And if we want to make our target sample size is combined, so Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur become one. So our target sample size as a whole is actually 400. So we want to distribute it as equal. Jakarta 200 respondent and Kuala Lumpur 200 respondent. And then the data collection method, we will use survey and like online questionnaire. And we will use the 6-Likert scale with a close-ended question. And the data analysis method, we will use descriptive, frequency, correlation, and multi-regression. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Seniza, okay, comment first. Seniza. Seniza. Dengar tak suara saya? Can you hear me?
Dengar, Doktor.
Okay, okay, alright. Alright, I think maybe Senizam go to toilet.
Okay.
Okay, Senizam, alright.
Show me your title slide.
Yes, Doctor. Yes,
Your,
sir.
your title slide.
Oh, title.
Miss Rina Pasti Atifa.
Yes, Doctor. Wait. That's okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Select the title.
Can you see the presentation?
Cannot.
Wait. Oh, ni. Stop sharing. Okay, Doctor. Can you see the slide?
Investigation of plastic perspective. Wow, this is your PhD.
Yes, Doctor.
PhD topic.
Oh, no.
It's very ambitious. Okay. So, why you want to do this topic? You from Indonesia?
Because actually I have the experience. I want to recycle plastic, but the waste bag, because in Indonesia there are no, they combine all waste into one single bin. So I want to recycle plastic, but the waste bag is very far from my house. So, yeah, I'm sad. And then I want to know if we can find out the real problem and maybe we can come up with a solution, inshallah. We want to do. And we want to compare between the capital cities in Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur.
Compare. So the word investigation is quite major, heavy words. Because investigation is detailed, no? That's why I ask you now. It's like a PhD. Because investigation is quite big. But any problem recycling system in Malaysia and in Jakarta? Any problem? Any issue? I think your mic is problem lah.
Yeah.
You open one. You open a few Webex.
Yeah, one for the screen sharing. So the problem that we found in Jakarta is actually they combine all waste. So plastic waste must be to save the environment. It is better that we recycle, but they are not. The plastics are just dumped into the landfill. Is that what your question, Doctor? Because tadi tersekat.
Any problem with Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur recycling system?
Yeah.
That you want to investigate. Usually, when you want to investigate something, there's some problem, right? So, what is the problem with Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur?
In Jakarta, problem statement. So in Jakarta, the system is not yet fully developed. So so far the policy is just the limitation for using plastic bags. And in KL, actually I have found out that they have a better system, very integrated online, offline, and the SW Corp. But the problem in Kuala Lumpur is more on to the lack of understanding and awareness and lack of action, something like that. So it still can find plastics on the street and on the landfill.
What is your DB?
Yes, Doctor?
What is your DB?
Oh, DB. A plastic recycling system.
Plastic recycling system. Station of ini symbiotic theory. Symbiotic.
Symbiosis effect between these two.
This is ME theory, right? ME theory.
Yeah.
Plastic recycling system. So what actually the issue on plastic recycling system?
The issue on plastic recycling system.
Yeah.
For Indonesia, for the accessibility, availability in Indonesia, they are not very accessible and they are not really available. So we want to compare on each independent variables.
If you want to compare, your framework cannot be like this. You must have some Malaysia IV, right? So they must countries now, right? So I think if you want to compare, you put either the third variable is country, upon you have two framework, one from Malaysia, one from Indonesia, because both all the factors are affecting the country, right?
Yeah.
So you must test 2 times. One testing about Indonesia, one testing about Malaysia. Wow, it's very serious business, eh? Can you have time to do it? Data collection, everything.
If we are consult with Dr. Emmy, so we just separate on the problem statement and then we combine on the literature review and then we separate on the findings. On the
Review, you must review literature related to recycling system, but the background you must come information on. You must put information on recycling system in Indonesia and Malaysia, right? The framework you should have because it is involve testing, you know, involve findings. This is the findings. So your findings should be two, one from Malaysia, one from Indonesia, right? And thus all the factors are the same between Malaysia and Indonesia. And Indonesia in terms of situational factors, in terms of personal factors, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's not if the same, it's fine. But usually situational factors affecting geographical right, kan? Right. Malaysia and Malaysia is not the same. Malaysia and Malaysia lah. Malaysia and Indonesia is not the same, right? Same also personal factors, not the same. Self-efficacy, self-awareness for Malaysian is different than Indonesia, right? So how you want to compare if the basis is not the same in terms of dia punya dia punya situational and personal factors. Okay, so that is the thing that I concern lah. And furthermore, why I ask you to have two framework, because you have to collect two data. One data from Indonesia, one data is from Malaysia. Then only you can compare. If you only one data, how you want to compare? Right? The background data should be two also. One Malaysia, one Indonesia. First of all, you need to understand what recycling system, right? Understand? So this is I think that my concern. If not, nothing. You said is comparison, but the data not representing the right sample. Okay, that's why you must be careful, because that's why I mentioned just now your topic is heavy, right? Like masters or PhD, right? So why not you limit the scope and make it easier to access? Maybe you just do, if you have data more on Indonesia, you just focus on Indonesia, no problem, right? Okay, the time is limited, right? You want to collect data from Indonesia and then from Malaysia. Wow, very good, you. Okay?
Yeah.
Understand? You understand my concern?
Yeah.
Okay? Because your time is a factor, right? It's good to have that comparison. Time is a factor. Okay?
Is that fair?
Now, methodology, how methodology? You're doing what? Qualitative, qualitative?
Quantitative. Wait, Doctor. I cannot share.
Quantitative?
Yes.
So, you're doing analysis. What method you want to test? What techniques or statistics you want to test?
Statistical. The data analysis using descriptive and frequency correlation and multi-regression.
Wow, you want to test correlation. You want to test regression.
A correlation for the situational and personal, and then multi-regression because Jakarta and Kuala Lumpur. But we have heard we have noted your concern.
Okay, so I leave to Dr. Osman to continue.
Okay, thank you, Seniza. All right. Your title, is it you suggest it or your SV asked you to do that?
Actually, I was we were interested in reverse logistics, and then we found that there are problems in plastics recycling, doctor. So we asked for that.
So the idea come from you guys. Okay. How the title relate to your study, which is logistic management?
Because recycling system is under reverse logistics.
Reverse logistics. Okay, all right. Make sure it's mentioned clearly in your paper letter, in your maybe you got report or not. Maybe if got report letter, okay? Because later on the title of your FYP you will put in your resume, right?
Yeah.
Should be reflect your knowledge. Okay. And then you want to do the quantitative. I think the population, the sample you state only 200, right?
Yes, doctor.
I think it should be 400.
200.
400 for both. So Kuala Lumpur 200, Jakarta 200. So when combined 400.
Oh, you combine?
Yeah.
200 and 200. Okay. Then, as what Sir Nizam said, the culture in Kuala Lumpur and Jakarta is different. Even the law and the administrative in Kuala Lumpur and Jakarta is different. Okay. So how come you use the same IV to do the research, right? Okay, fine. Do you want to do comparative study? You know comparative study? First you do in Kuala Lumpur, the result for Kuala Lumpur you compare with the result from the Jakarta. Maybe you can say, okay, recycle system in Jakarta is better than the recycling system in Malaysia. Why? Why? Maybe because the government implementation on recycling in Jakarta is more systematic compared to Malaysia. Or maybe you can say people in Malaysia know, aware about recycling, but they don't care. They don't care. They really want everything they will do become money. If they want recycle, they want to get profit. So maybe you want to do comparative study. Okay, think about that, okay? Because this is a very different place. Okay. So for me, that's all lah. Nothing much. Everything is sound clear.
Okay, doctor.
Okay.
Mr. Nizam kita sudah. Thank you, doctor. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Putri from Jakarta.
Yes.
Okay. Putra from where?
Yes, doctor.
Putra from where? Putra. You are Putri.
Yeah.
Where's Putra from where?
Putra.
Your friend.
Oh. Nothing.
Where doctor?
You Putra from where?
No, I Hatim.
Atim lah. Kita nak jumpa Atim. Kan? Okay. Faham Tapi the best, you should, because your time is limited. So you focus on one lah. Don't compare most time lah. Your postgrad you want to compare. Okay. This is your undergrad only. You take one. And then elaborate on one. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So I think all group already present, 6 group. So maybe we want to make any conclusion. Mungkin Sediza nak bagi nasihat apa-apa ke untuk semua group yang ada.
Semua dah balik kan ni?
Ada lagi lah, kita nak ambil gambar.
Oh, ingatkan dah balik tinggal tim seorang kan.
Dia ada banyak lagi.
Okay, good lah. You at least you have a thought on doing research. It's good, although you're undergrad, but actually research work is a good training for you to have a critical mind, and also good for implementing what you've learned during the few semesters back. So the thing that mostly I commented is on the problem statement, the issue. So you need to address when you want to do a topic, you need to be clear on why you want to do it. Why? What is the issue? What it's all about, right? So what you want to find out with the issue. There is a question. See, that's why you need to execute this research work. You need the prerequisite is you need to do your research methodology first, so that you understand a little bit on research work, scientific research work. So it's important. It's very important for you to observe that when you do your research, the sequence is there. That's why they call it research methods. There's step-by-step methods that you need to follow in order to achieve a scientific research, so that your result will be acknowledged by the scientific world, meaning the scientific world, meaning that the world of knowledge, world of academicians, world of professionals, all of them are basing their knowledge and thoughts and findings on facts. They don't assume, don't make an assumption. They are on logical facts. So these are important. So don't dishearten based on my comment. You want to learn, jangan ada rasa apa? Rasa kecewa ataupun rasa marah ataupun rasa apa kan, rasa apa, demotivation. Take it all the comment as positive as possible, because our intention is to teach you and to guide you properly, not to penalize you. No point penalize you. What for, right? What do we get? The point is want to guide you, tell you what it should be, and then you should take all the comments positively and try to do your best, improve it, right? Maybe your level of improvement is not to that level, but you are trying to understand and to improve it. The most important thing is that it's logical, it's rational. It must be logic. If you ask why, you can answer why. If you cannot answer, something is not logic. You're doing something without purpose, right? So that's bad. So hopefully whatever you learn to do a research, you can apply in your daily life, in your life on life lah. Then in life also we need to be logic, we need to be rational, objective, right? Don't indulge so much in emotions and sentiments. Okay, so thank you very much. That is from me. So leave it to Dr. Usna.
Okay, thank you, Sunizam. Nothing much from me, but thank you everybody for your work. Okay, this is just proposal. You have more time to work on your research, so you can stay correct it. Okay, so no worry, just keep working. Jom kita ambil gambar kenang-kenangan. Okay, turn on your video cam. Okay, alright. Comel semua. Actually saya tak tahu macam mana nak jadikan semua sekali. So saya kena buat dua. Okay. Saya count ada dua kali, okay? Senisa, okay, alright. Saya nak kecilkan, saya pun tak tahu. Saya cuba kecilkan.
Sama Nur tengok kamera Nur. Ya laki bini pula. Yang berdua. Yang berdua sepasang tu dah macam pengantin lah bergaya.
Okay, saya count lah. First round. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Freestyle, freestyle. Comel buat posing ah.
Okay. One more. 1, 2, 3.
All the best.
Okay. Okay, then.
Ain.
Okay lah.
Memang sepasang sejoli ke bukan? Okay, Putri.
Okay.
Atim jangan lupa. Baju aku mana?
Oh, baju saya. Next weekend ni sir, insyaAllah.
Okay.
Kalikan mak ke? Saya bagi hari Ahad ni.
Okay.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum.
Okay, jumpa lagi. Assalamualaikum semua. Terima kasih.